Today I'm very pleased to introduce our speaker, Paulding County Commission Chairman David Austin. And I thought for a long time, what am I going to say that somebody hasn't said or said about David? So I called David yesterday and asked him to jot down a few of his goals and ideas and for Paulding County. And he gave me this morning. It says, my goals and dreams for Paulding County by David Austin. It only took me about 2 hours to scan this, so y'all bear with me. With that, I ask that you give me your full attention to Chairman Austin as he delivers the 6th annual State of the County address. Help me in welcoming to the podium Chairman David Austin.
I plan to try to keep you entertained for the next 2.5 hours, so I'll try to keep you short. Kevin McMicken said to me, just say we're broke and we're going to take up an offering. So that's going to get you people here. Good idea, Kevin. You know what it means to me to have my pastor here? He prays for me on a regular basis. And I can't tell you what that means. He came out today, and I'm telling you, it means a lot. So thank you, Steve, for being here. I want to thank you all for taking time out of your busy day. And I understand, like Raymond said, you could have been somewhere else today, and it shows to me that this county is a priority to you. And I solicit your help in the coming days and weeks ahead. I'd like to thank this great chamber under the leadership of Carolyn Wright, all the staff, the ambassadors, the volunteers that make this a great place to live, work, and play. It's just absolutely great to participate in one of these events and see how well they do. I called Kevin last night and I said, Kevin, once again, you have put lipstick on a pig. This place looks great. I certainly want to recognize my wife, Jane, and my daughter, Jade. They inspire me and make it all worth doing this job. So thank you for your support. There's a lot of people to thank today, and I hope I remember everybody, but I'll remind you, as you look around the room, we do have the display for the Wellstar Hospital. We do have the display for the reservoir over here. We do have a display for the Opportunity Zone. And this, folks, is our newest kiosk. Let's see. Is Dean Morgan here? Dean, thank you for bringing that today. I know it took a lot of hard work to get it here, so thank you very much. What you'll start to see on the corner of our roads is this type of signage rather than everybody putting up our own individual signs and cluttering up everything. And then the other beautiful places here in Paulding County. I'd also like to take this time to recognize all of our employees and staff. If you're here, would you please stand? If you work with Paulding County, would you stand? I'm proud to work with our commissioners. Nothing would happen without you guys. Post 1, Larry Ragsdale, and they've been pointing out to you. Post 2, Todd Pownell. Post 3, Tommy Graham. And Post 4, David Barnett. Thank you guys. It's awesome working with you. I'd also like to thank Pat Tibbetts. You can't believe what she has to go through. Being the assistant and clerk to me is unbelievable. So Pat, wherever you are, thank you. I'd like to thank our constitutional officers and our statutory officers. This has not been easy to manage and to govern during these hard economic times, and they just do so much for such few dollars and such small budget, so thank you all. I appreciate you. In my first state of the county address, I was just getting acclimated to this job. But I knew enough to know that we were in pretty poor shape. I think if Paulding County had been a patient in a hospital, we would have been listed as critical. So I'm here to tell you that after the ensuing years of taking office and looking at our future financial health and stability, I'm here to tell you that I'm happy to say the state of the county is rising. It is improving, but it's guarded. And I say that because I think we have to stay the course that we've done for our finances and to be bold and innovative in the ways we seek to grow our county and bring jobs to Paulding County. On your table are a few highlights, and you probably saw this rolling in the film, that a few of the highlights and some accomplishments that's happened since taking office in 2009. There's one person here who probably right now despises me more than anybody in the room, and that's Jody Martin. Jody's had to hear this speech about 100 times and set the slides up to go with it. And the other day we had an ambulance pull up, and I said, Pat, do you know anything about the ambulances out here? Of course, there was something in elections that happened, but she said, yeah, Jody just jumped out the window. Upon taking office, we began cutting expenses, and for the ensuing 3 budget years have continued to make cuts and meet a balanced budget. In doing so, we have reduced the budget by more than $12 million while striving to maintain excellent service. We have eliminated 70 full or part-time jobs. In doing this, we've swallowed the bitter pill, and we've taken extreme actions to remedy the problem and get ourselves going in another direction. Our employees have sacrificed for this county with furlough days, with frozen wages, with increased contributions to the health care, and they're making do with less. All that has been done in hope of a better and brighter days that lay ahead. So thank you all. These folks are average citizens just like you and I, and not to be able to get increase in wages to meet their personal debts and obligations is tough. I understand this. I'm trying my best to turn this around. And I got to thank so many people here with the will-do attitude over the just oh well type attitude. I'm proud of every one of you, and thank you for being here. Albert Einstein wrote, the significant problems we face cannot be solved at the same level of thinking we were at when we created them. Think about that. We were at a time when a lot of these problems happened where money would just almost fix anything. But we have to think differently now. We must all pull together as few other times in our history. We must focus our energy on being creative and not destructive. I believe the economy is showing signs of improving, and I certainly pray that this is true. As we look to make changes and keep the county moving forward, I'm reminded of a quote from Wayne Dyer. Your greatest gift lies beyond the door, named fear. It is reminiscent of Franklin Roosevelt's, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Fear of change, I believe, has stymied a lot of our past efforts. However, we must accept the responsibility and use our individual talents and contacts to bring jobs in industry here. We can't wait on Carolyn or Jamie or anyone else to do that. We've all got to pitch in. And this is the best place in the world to start. People continue to move to Paulding County, and we continue to grow. Even though it's nowhere near the rate it was in the 90s and early 2000s. You can imagine in 1950, when I was born, what does that number say, about 11,000 people? And now we're just few people shy of 143,000 people. So people continue to move here. In this year's presidential election, the Board of Elections will utilize every voting machine available to accommodate 82,000 registered voters. That's more than 10,000 new voters from the 2008 election rolls, and that's out of a total population of 143,000 people. To prepare for the future, we must continue to focus on the same 3 areas that I enumerated last year: water, economic development, and transportation. Developing water resources for the future needs is not only a priority for Paulding County, but for the state of Georgia as well, as Bill Heath and a lot of you others here well know. Governor Deal has set aside $300 million for reservoir funding and created incentives for public-private partnerships for innovation and their development. Our county administrator, Mike Jones, Mike, would you stand? And our sewer system director, Michael Carter. Michael, you do? Thank you, guys. Have worked diligently to obtain the Corps of Engineers permit for construction of the Richland Creek Reservoir. I revived this process in the early 2009 and have been frustrated with the red tape and the expense, but we have completed all the requirements of permitting that are within our purview. I want to thank Paulding resident Bill Caruth, a member and former chairman of the Board of Georgia Department of Natural Resources, for assistance in this process, and with the help of our consultant, Ron Harris. Ron, are you here? We plan to begin the full-scale design and construction before the ink dries, and I'm saying we're getting a permit, so Ron, just shake your head yes. We're so confident of this fact that for the first time in this project's long history, we're focused on the design and construction effort. I plan on reporting to you later this summer that we are on track and begin full-scale design and construction before the ink dries on the Corps of Engineers permit. I am proud of the leadership role my brother, Mayor Boyd Austin, plays as chairman of the Metropolitan North Georgia Water Planning District and as a member of Georgia Environmental Finance Authority, also known as CHEFA. These positions allow him to be a key partner in the district's reservoir approval and to offer assistance in tapping into the financing options at the state level. So thank you, Boyd. Under economic development, as you recall, economic development was and still is my top priority. I'm very excited about the independent Paulding County Economic Development Organization Incorporated. It is up and running and off to a great start. Jamie Gilbert was hired as this executive director a year ago, and he's impressed us all with his energy and his enthusiasm. Excuse me just a second. Oh, hey, Jamie. Yeah, I'm at the state of Kansas. I know you got a prospect. I'll call you. I talked to Jamie at 7 o'clock in the morning. I talked to Jamie at 7 o'clock in the evening. And I could not be happy with this man's enthusiasm. He's impressed us all with his energy and enthusiasm. He has amassed prospects and already has had the relocation of Nationwide Envelope, now known as Envelope Superstore in Hiram, and will amount to about 40 jobs over the next couple of years. Envelope Superstore General Manager David Warner, I'm not sure if David's with us today or not. David, are you here? Would you stand for a second? Thank you. I'll paraphrase David. I just wanted to thank you so much. This is a note he wrote to Jamie. I am so glad you decided to make the move to Paulding County. I'm so glad we decided to make the move to Paulding County. You have smoothed over the rough spots, and I'm sure there will be more to come, and I know that we can count on you to help us through. This is our first move in more than 20 years. I can't imagine doing this without your help that you've given us. I think Paulding's pro-business attitude is what our country needs more of. David, thank you. I believe in regional cooperation. Well, here's one of my bosses, the ACCG, Ross King, and Boyd's boss, the GMA, Lamar Norton. Thank you guys for being here. I believe in regional cooperation and have been active in the position of the Northwest Georgia Regional Commission. One of the great achievements of that organization has been the grant to create the Appalachian Valley Fiber Network. No doubt you've seen the machines on the side of the road of the county installing the orange pipe. One of my dear friends, Ken, is here. Ken Carlton. And then Parker Fiber he was going to be here, David Parker, but it's taking care of a disaster somewhere else in another county. But we go back to high school hating each other when Dallas played Rockmore. And then you get over playing poker with somebody at West Georgia College and you get to be good friends. And then they show up 30 years later installing your fiber, so thank you, Ken. These conduits will contain the fiber network that will connect Paulding County and Northwest Georgia with the rest of North America, South America, and Europe. It gives us a system that matches or exceeds broadband speed and capacity of virtually any metropolitan area in the country. So thank you. I want to mention Northwest Georgia Regional Commission. We do have Lloyd Frazier and Mike Miller somewhere here in the room. There you are. There you are. Thank you. This network will contribute to our ability to compete for the jobs that we have targeted in the technology and medical sectors. Broadband access is becoming a fundamental infrastructure need for modern industry, and ours will be on par with any in the nation. I'm proud to announce today that Paulding County and the City of Dallas have just received confirmation from Director of the Department of Community Affairs, Mr. Mike Beatty, that the redevelopment portion of the application for the Opportunity Zone has been approved. You'll hear more about this and more explanation to come. The green space portion of this is pending for the final review process, and they promised me this will be done in coming weeks. This designation provides a monetized incentive for new and existing businesses to create 2 or more jobs within the Opportunity Zone and gives us equal footing to compete with some of the more disadvantaged areas of the state, or what's also known as Tier 1 communities. I appreciate DCA Commissioner Mike Beatty for making a personal visit here. Some of you heard him at Rotary Club not long ago, and to shepherd this application through the review process. Our economic development plan welcomes all industry, but has its primary focus on healthcare, aviation, and the film and entertainment industry. As far as healthcare is concerned, Wellstar has received the certificate of need to proceed with the construction of the new Wellstar Paulding Hospital. I believe we have Mark Haney, and Mark, you have some more folks with you today. Thank you. There's 300 new jobs that will be created with this new hospital, and an estimated 400 jobs to follow with the opening of the second medical operations base. Many more jobs will be created and additional services offered. As you know, if you've seen around Kennestone, the close proximity of that medical campus. The Wellstar Paulding Hospital will serve as the cornerstone of the wellness corridor for future expansion on Bill Caruth Parkway. Now let's turn to aviation. The Paulding County Airport Authority has expanded the completion of our terminal building, the first hangar building being built and leased, and construction of the fuel farm. The fixed-based operator, Paulding Jet Center, and I'm not sure if Jeff and Scott Bill are with us here or not, has seen phenomenal growth in services provided in fuel cells. I want to take just a moment and have just a quick moment of silence. There's a gentleman that lost his life, and I know that family is grieving, that was working on the hangar at our airport. He worked for a subcontractor, so if you would, let's keep that family in our prayers. Our first corporate tenant, ADI, is building a box hangar, and they are expanding their service from the present location from Michigan. A new water tank is being installed for fire suppression purposes to help with the expansion of our industrial base. Agreement between the City of Dallas and Paulding County will bring sanitary sewer to the airport, vital infrastructure needed for industrial expansion. Just plant a seed and it will grow, was a comment that Tim Hill said to me on a recent flying to Washington, D.C. It's small business leaders like Tim that will turn our Paulding economy around. Now, this was awesome. The Chamber of Flying to Washington, D.C. consisted of corporate Americans, small business leaders on their own dime, traveling to meet the members of Congress to express the needs of Paulding County, which included, but not limited to, the widening of Highway 92 and the building of the Richland Creek Reservoir. I am grateful for your leadership and your sacrifice of your time and money to show our senators and congressmen that we care enough to have a show of force for what we believe in. I think there were 30 people that went on this flying. I spoke with Charlie Harmon, who's Texas Shannon's chief of staff, and I said, did we bring too many people? And he said, no, it was awesome. So we left an impression on him. Also, to promote the airport and tourism, the Airport Authority is planning an air show with the Shell All team and other huge attractions for Saturday, October the 20th, 2012, with the leadership of Air Force Major Kerry Tidmore and retired Colonel Marine Corps David Carmichael. Are y'all in the room? David, he's not in uniform, he just looks so good. For information on the air show, please take a look on your tables for the air show flyers. They were prepared by Kennesaw State student Jessica Morehouse. So we're getting the young people involved in this too. The Industrial Building Authority, along with the backing of the Board of Commissioners, has constructed a film studio and remodeled a foreclosed business park to take advantage of the film and entertainment tax credits that Georgia offers. The state of Georgia has become the Hollywood of the East by offering tax credits and bringing jobs to Georgia and to Paulding County. We have a judge here who was recently in a little play at his church, and he has aspirations of Hollywood. We are proud to partner with Roadtown Enterprises to negotiate and deliver TV and film productions, along with high-paying jobs to Paulding County. Nick Smirigan and Jeremy Harrington with Roadtown, along with their wives, are here today. Would you guys stand? They plan on producing the Tommy Gray and Peepaw show. Every gathering of economic developers points out that the fundamental building block for economic development and growth is a good transportation system. And that is the third element of our plan for Paulding County. We must have a good system, and it must be integrated with regional and statewide plans to improve commutes, move raw materials and finished products to market, and to connect with the rest of the country and the rest of the world through the Port of Savannah and through the Jackson-Hartsfield International Airport. On a local level, the Paulding County Department of Transportation, as with our emergency responders, have faced extraordinary challenges with a 500-year flood in 2009 and the winter storms of 2011. In both incidents, they performed well, reopened roads, and returned our infrastructure to better conditions than before. Thank you, DOT. The result of the DOT speaks for themselves. Paving 105 miles on 216 roads and streets, improved 8 roads on 12 gravel roads with recycled asphalt or millings. That seems to be working well. Replaced the humpback bridge on Old Harris Bridge Road. That's been out since 1985. Now there's a couple somewhere back in this part of the room that used to park out by Humpback Bridge. I won't point out who they are, but he just had his 80th birthday. They have improved the intersections of City Crest and Graves Road. They've partnered with the Georgia DOT to leverage the SPLOST dollars for the intersection improvements at Villa Rica Highway, Mulberry Rock and Ridge Roads, at Highway 92 and due west, and replace the bridge over Sweetwater Creek on Baker's Bridge Road. All this while they were beginning the largest construction roadway improvement in Paulding County's history, the East Hiram Parkway from Highway 92 to Highway 278. And also completing the widening of 4 lanes of the first mile of Bill Caruth Parkway, improving access for Wellstar, Atlanta Film Studios, and the future development opportunities along the wellness corridor. As we continue to plan for our future, connectivity will be the primary concern. We have a good system within the county. We must connect that system with our neighboring counties and roads, the state routes, and the federal interstate system. We continue to work with Douglas County on the widening Highway 92 South in Paulding County and support their plans for an underpass under the railroad in Douglasville to allow for unimpeded traffic flow. We are working with the state and federal agencies, as well as Cobb and Bartow counties, to support the construction of the interchange at 3rd Army to connect northeast Paulding to I-75 through Dabbs Bridge Road. Scott Green is here. Scott, would you stand? Scott came from a meeting just this morning on this very issue, so thank you, Scott. Macklin Road will be widened to 4 lanes through Paulding County to tie Paulding County to I-75 through the recently opened Windy Mac connector. All these projects will improve drive times of commuters and will open Paulding County to industrial prospects. I also think it's critical now for us to open discussion on the 2012 Transportation Investment Act, or also known as TIA or TSPLOST. In July, you will have the opportunity to vote on a 1-cent 10-year regional sales tax for transportation only. All these monies collected within the 12 regions will be spent on a list of projects in those 12 regions. All the funds raised in the region, let me repeat this, all the funds raised in the region will stay in the region. This is a $200 million investment in Paulding alone that will lead us forward and guide us for the future, and we have more local input. 75% of the money will be used on the projects within the region, and 25% will be returned to local governments for discretionary projects. The key Paulding projects on the regional transportation list include the widening of Highway 278 through Hiram, accelerating the widening of Macklin Road, improving a number of intersections on Highway 61, creating a Highway 61 bypass for Dallas, and improving signal timing and fiber optic connections, and the building of traffic monitoring center. Let me tell you, we put 5 people in the room. I chaired that committee, and it was amazing the results that we got. Chairman was there from Harrelson and most of these negotiations, and we took something like $20 billion of projects and pared that down to 10. So you can imagine the work that went into weeks and months of getting this project list ready. For us, delivering some of the long-delayed projects on a quicker pace with TSPLOST funds will also free up funding on earlier construction of more important corridors such as Highway 92. These projects, along with others in our region, will improve travel time and safety for the 76% of Paulding Countyans that commute outside our workforce every day. The discretionary money will be returned to local governments, and it's based on a formula of population and local road miles. Based on our current revenue projections, Paulding County would receive $39.8 million for local projects. The city of Dallas would receive $2.5 million, which is now hearing this for the first time. Hiram, almost $1 million, and Brazzell, $106,000. There are many things that separate this program from the diminishing federal program. Those who pass through our county and spend money here will contribute also. This reduces or eliminates the need or burden on property owners for capital project expenses. We these projects that were the most important to us and that we could deliver through a much simpler, streamlined process aside from the federal program. Now, you as voters have the opportunity to choose whether or not that sales tax will be levied in our region. And in my opinion, it is a referendum on improved quality of life and economic opportunity. Let's take a moment to look at taxes. We have done everything we know to face the challenge in these tough economic times. Property values have fallen to the lowest levels in history, and foreclosures are at an all-time high. As a result of these lower valuations, revenues have sharply declined. Our strategy was to trim the budgets and cut expenses, and as a result, we have the lowest taxes in the preceding 6 years. Where does this all end? We don't know. We hope better times are close at hand. Indicators lead me to believe that many things are turning around, and I am planning for our future. In Jim Collins' book, Good to Great, he writes, good to great comes about by a cumulative process. Step by step, action by action, decision by decision, turn by turn of the flywheel that adds up to sustained and spectacular results. We're taking the steps to stay ahead of the curve and create a better, more promising future for Paulding County. Now, where do we go from here? I take my inspiration from the 2012 Super Bowl champion New York Giants. They came out of nowhere in the playoffs and systematically defeated every opponent to reach the Super Bowl and become the world champions. Their inspiration came from John Paul Gonzalez, a former teacher and motivational speaker. Gonzalez used the term all in to motivate them. It is the mantra for the New York Giants, players and fans, and folks, it worked. I want to take a page out of their playbook, and today I'm asking you as citizens and business owners in Paulding County to please be all in. Please take the challenge to make Paulding County the best place to live, work, and play. We need you to volunteer your time, your talents, and resources in any way you can, and to be all in your neighborhoods, in your communities, our schools, your places of worship, and any great organization that can do so much for so many. A great organization to volunteer with is the Children's Foundation of Paulding. I make fun of Tommy sometimes, but he makes fun of me. But I'm going to tell you, Tommy's behind this project, and it's going to do amazing things. Tommy, thank you for that effort. This foundation can be the catalyst of many other organizations, but mostly be of service to our children, who are our future. By volunteering in this organization, you can say that you were all in. I accepted the responsibility to lead this county and to meet the challenges and assume the duties of this office. But however, it is great citizens and business leaders like you who will keep this county moving forward. Thank you for the opportunity to serve as your chairman of the Paulding County Board of Commissioners. Thank you for all that you do and for being all in. May God bless you, Paulding County, our great state and nation, and may He shield and protect those who stand in harm's way to defend our country. God bless Paulding County.